Wandering through the great plains of life, things move fast, sometimes a blur. Don't you let this bumpy road separate you from the herd. And when you think the day is done, the sun is getting low, we're all looking for something rare, the great white buffalo. The Great White Buffalo Podcast with Ben Mayfield.
We thought Jake Gyllenhaal, all too well, 10-minute version.
Yeah, no. And then, boom, and then this happens. I think she'll make a crap ton of money off of it.
I agree.
Have you listened to the new Miley Cyrus song, Crapping on Liam Hemsworth?
No.
The flowers. I can buy myself flowers.
Oh, yeah, that's him?
That's
okay,
it.
yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Josh was jamming to that the other day.
It came out on his birthday. She released the song on his birthday.
Yeah. Power move.
Is it a power move or is it a petty move?
Well, have you heard that it's
They
also a
left 4
response
years
to Bruno Mars? That
What?
song?
Well, yeah, but I don't think that Bruno Mars song is a...
Why did they break up, by
Well,
the
it's
way?
because Liam Hemsworth played that song at their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she chose that song. So that's another reason.
Did you see the dress she was wearing in her music video too? Apparently that had something to do with like one of the girls that he cheated on her with. She wore it to a red carpet, and that's why she wore like the dress. She was like dropping hints in the whole music video. She's like, I'll wear the same dress as the girl you cheated on me with.
He cheated on her?
Oh,
Supposedly.
yeah.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay. All right. I'm a big Chris Hemsworth and I are really close friends.
Which have you heard about everything with him?
No.
Chris Hemsworth?
The guy that plays Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a step back from acting because he got diagnosed. He's got a really good chance of like early onset Alzheimer's or something, and so he's like taking a step back and just kind of like. There's a really sweet video. His wife, dressed up, had like this like an old person mask or whatever, so that way he could see what she'd be like old. So if he can't remember when they get older who she is, and like. It almost makes me want to cry now. Like I watched it, and I was like, ha, 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 and I just was like in waterworks. Like it was so sweet.
And welcome to another episode of the Great White Buffalo Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Mayfield. And ladies and gentlemen, we had the All-Star Squad. We did a couple episodes, was it last year? I guess last year. The three of us did some episodes together. And a lot of people, and I say a lot of people, I mean more than 15, okay? So that's a lot of people in my book, all right?
Yeah.
Have requested to have the three of us back together in the studio. So to my right is Mr. Nathan Dickens. How are you, Nathan?
I'm great. How y'all doing?
We're fantastic. I love the color scheme.
I just want to. I'm a colorful man. I like colors. So
He has a bright red hat. Bright blue hoodie.
Crimson Moon represent.
Yo, huge sponsor of the podcast. And maybe future. And then bright green. I love it.
Yep.
And those sick New Balances, too.
New Balances. Boom.
Which you can only see if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You can see Nathan Dickens and his bright, colorful. We're up to 81 subscribers.
82?
82. I'm sorry. Sydney just subscribed. Yeah. We're up to 82 subscribers as of right now. So I'm hoping to get to... My goal is to get to 1,000 in 2023 because when you get to 1,000, you can start monetizing. And then ultimately, this is going to sound crazy. But if you don't have crazy goals, what can you accomplish in life?
Nothing.
100,000 subscribers. That is my goal. Because when you do 100,000, you're making some major headway in the podcast game. And I'm going to do it.
You know who you need to get, and you'll get there real quick?
What's that?
Joe Rogan. Call him up.
Let me call Joe. Let me say, hey, I'll let him be on my podcast.
Fly him out here. You're not going to Austin.
Yeah.
He can
Austin,
come to
Texas.
Dahlonega.
Yeah, for real.
We'll put him up in a nice 3.5-star hotel.
Which is the best one we have.
The best one we got.
All right, let me ask you this. Well,
No breakfast. Can't do breakfast.
And then Sydney Smith's over to my
Okay.
left. What's up, Sydney Smith?
Okay.
So let me ask you this. If Joe Rogan were to come to Dahlonega, who's a huge, like, the number one podcast, Joe Rogan, what would be something we would do to, like, entertain Joe in Dahlonega? Like, what's the Dahlonega, like, must-sees?
I feel like the obvious answer is like the mining, like go on the little gold digging tours.
Oh, the gold
Well,
mine?
you gotta do the touristy stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta do that type of stuff. I think. Does he drink?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, take him to like maybe a couple breweries or something. Take him one. I
We
know
have
he'd
no
want to do
breweries in
some.
Dahlonega?
You could take him to the Etowah Meadery. They have some beer there. You could take
okay,
him to
sure.
Tantrum. I mean, I'm not saying they're Dahlonega, but anything up here you got to drive to anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's
take him the North Georgia Mountain Experience. I'd take him to Spirits.
Oh, Spirits.
I think he would enjoy a Spirits burger. I don't think anyone who likes meat can go to Spirits and not like their burgers.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or Shenanigans, but I like Spirits better than Shenanigans.
If he's coming, I'm sure he's coming for more than just a day. Yeah. So we could take him to both. And then definitely some awesome hikes.
Have you been like Preacher's Rock? Would be good.
That'd be iconic, yeah. You can do that.
Have you been to Copper Mines? Have you seen
No,
the
I
rapids?
haven't.
Have you been to the Copper Mine, like to the mine? What? You lived in Dahlonega for like a year now,
Yeah.
and you've never been?
I've also lived like an hour from Dahlonega my whole life.
That is true.
Oh my gosh, Sydney, we need to get you out of
Yeah.
your apartment, dude. Jeez, see the world.
I get out sometimes.
Out of
I
the
come
apartment,
here.
off of Snapchat, and
This
just go to the
is
Copper
when
Mine.
Sydney gets out. She
I'm
gets
kidding,
out
she's
of her
on
apartment
Snapchat.
to go to McDonald's at like 3 a.m.
They do know my name. I pull up and they say, "Hey, Sydney, what can we get started for
It's nice to be a regular somewhere.
you?" It is.
isn't it?
Well, I also have my car is very obvious, so it's not like
Oh, yeah.
What type of car do you drive?
I have a yellow Jeep Wrangler.
There is, okay.
like-
There's
hold on.
one other one.
There's one other one because it's
I've went down a
always
couple times.
parked in the public parking next to the church.
Mm-hmm.
And every day when I pass by and see it, I'm go, "Oh, Sydney." No, that's not Sydney. I'm like, "Oh, Sydney." Oh, that's not Sydney. Every time.
He has a silver bumper. Mine's black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yours is cooler.
I waved at him once, and it wasn't you. I threw something at him.
Good.
Throw it out there. So listen, I wanted to throw this out there. And before we started recording, Nathan came at me a little bit. I wanted to tell a date story that I went on recently. And Nathan is a proponent of me not telling the date story. Can you defend your reason why?
Okay, it's not that I'm saying don't tell
'Cause
the
it is
date
hilarious.
story. I say if you're going to crap on someone, that maybe you shouldn't do it on the podcast. And I was just saying, if he continues to have dates, which he will, I mean, look at this man.
Thank you.
If girls see this and go, "Oh, if I go on a date with him and it turns out terrible, he's just going to blast me on his podcast." And I think that's a valid reason not to just like make it a regular thing. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't go on
and
dates very often.
And they're not here to defend themselves. We don't know them from anybody. I'm saying you can definitely tell the story, and it's not like you do it every episode. I'm just saying it might come across as not a good idea to date Ben Mayfield if it goes bad and he just tells a story on this podcast.
Our number one demographic are single ladies.
Single ladies looking
what's
to
up,
date Ben
ladies?
Mayfield.
I'm the Taylor Swift of podcasting. You know, I write songs, I write episodes.
And in his defense, I will say to the ladies out there that are interested in Ben Mayfield, lots of them, he doesn't crap on all the girls he dates, and half of them we don't even know he's dating or going on dates because he won't tell us till months later. But so don't be too hesitant.
Like you know that.
I do know that.
I'm just saying maybe that's my reason.
Sydney, what do you think?
I feel like if you go on, like he led with that, I feel like if you continue to tell the story, then it's right. But it is a good story, and
Yeah, she knows.
I played a little part in it. I know it's.
And my thing is, I'm not saying don't tell it. I'm just saying
All right.
be conscious of that thought.
Then let me phrase it this way. For all the single ladies out
Pause.
there.
Let me still tell it.
He's
Just
still
let
going.
me say it.
I'm going to
She's
preface
nice.
everyone right now. If you want to fast forward, probably about 5 minutes, Ben's going to tell the story.
Yeah.
Again. So just if you're really into the story,
Because when it happened, when it was happening.
just tell the story. Let's just go into the
Yeah,
story.
I know. But when it was happening, I was like, oh, I need to tell this story. Because this is wild.
Okay, well then let's
Yeah.
forego all that. Just keep in mind what I said. Not saying
All
you
right.
didn't not to say it.
Right.
And let's go into the story.
This is a daughter of Christ, and she's a wonderful human being. But let me tell you a story real quick, all right? So I'm talking to this other girl named...
No.
I can't say it. But it's not the story about... My other friend starts with a K.
Wait, you're talking to another girl?
Well, just like a friend. She's like a friend.
Oh, okay.
And she said, Ben, you're not bold enough to go on dates. Like, you're just like... You just like talking, but like, you gotta go and like go on dates. Go hang out with girls. And I do get nervous about it. I'm like, I don't know, like, what if they don't like me or whatever? And so I put up some walls, and I don't actually go through with going on dates. And so she's telling me this, and this other girl was like, hey, I have a fire pit going out right now. You want to come over? We can get to know each other, chit chat, have a fire pit, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? It's like, and it's also like 10:30 at night at this point. And I was like, I'm also ready to go to bed. Like, this is like, I'm a bed person. But she only lives like less than 30 minutes away. So I said, okay. So I go over there, and I'm like being bold, I'm being brave. And I get there, and we had this fire she has this little, like the metal fire thing where you put wood in, and you just let it go.
So was it a solo stove?
I guess.
It's supposed to be like the anti-smoke one.
No, it definitely had smoke.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it definitely had smoke. Yeah. But it's freezing outside. And I look at my phone, it's like 20-something degrees outside.
Perfect for a fire.
Yeah.
No, the fire was not ablazing. It was a smoldering. And so I'm starting off super cold. And I didn't dress properly. I wore...
That might be on you.
No, it definitely is. I was wearing like this. Like I was wearing like just a single flannel shirt. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. And she has like layers on. And so for like 45 minutes to an hour, I'm outside in 20-degree weather going...
My favorite part, I just have to say this. She's probably telling the story of this idiot who came over that didn't bring a jacket.
It's so true. All right. And that's the first, like, all right, can we please just go inside where it's warm or get a bigger fire? So I guess that is partially my fault for not dressing properly. Second part is, and I think it's because just my personality, people like to open up, people like to talk, and I feel like I'm a disarming person. I'm not like, I don't have ulterior motives or whatever. And so, which is great. I love that about myself. So she proceeds to open up about her life and trauma dumps for the next hour and a half. Doesn't ask me a single question about what I do, what I like. No, we're not trying to get to know each other. What's your favorite color? What do you do for a living? It's like, this is my trauma. Let me tell you this. And it's about ex-boyfriends. It's about family members. It's about... And she also mentioned how rich she was, that she had $1.5 million worth of assets. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Like,
all right, I'll stay a little longer.
Yeah, I was a little intrigued by that. Like, and so, but it's just like, okay, and I don't want to get into, like you said, I'm not going to crap on her. I'm not going to tell you details what she said. Okay. But it's just like, oh, this is not like, we're not like actually talking, get to know each other. It's just you telling me all these things, right? And then, as I'm sitting next to her, and this is a big red flag for me, she pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking cigarettes. I am asthmatic. I do not like cigarettes. I don't like that at all. I didn't know that many people still smoke. I didn't know that was still like a popular
there are a lot
thing.
of people that smoke.
Do you smoke?
Only on the weekends.
On the weekends? All right. Was Friday count?
After 5.
After 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she starts smoking cigarettes in front of me. I'm like trying to get the hint, whatever. And then finally we go inside to warm up. And we go inside, and she has 4 cats. If you also know anything about me, what am I allergic to? Cats. I can't handle cats. She has 4 of them, and she refers to them as her roommates. Which I think she's like...
Well, she's sharing a house with them. They might have their own rooms. With $1.5 million, she's probably got a room for all of them.
She has $1.5 million in assets.
Okay. Excuse me.
Not cash flowing. And so...
Then they would have their own room.
Well, between the cats and the cigarette smoke, I could not see or breathe. And I was like... And I'm texting Sydney at the time. And I'm like, Sydney, I need to be rescued. Like, please rescue me. And Sydney goes, what did you say?
I think I said, I was with one of my friends, but I was like, well, if you need me to call you and be like, Ben, like, I'm, like, someone's in the house, like, please come save me. I was like, I literally will do that. Like, I will switch on my acting face so fast. And he was like, well, she's kind of like trauma dumping right now, so I don't want to be rude. Like, you went about it very sweet, but...
Well, I would feel bad if she's like, I bet my dad, hey, I need help. Like, oh, so sorry that you're in the middle of your story about, your father.
Yeah.
Bye. like you just left. And then this was the last little, like, dark yellow flag, was she went. I don't know if I told you this. She shows me her gun collection, and she like shows me this handgun that's fully loaded, cocked back, and it's like, look at this, and it's like, oh, that's cool. And she goes, can you get me something from the kitchen real quick? So I go to the kitchen, and I thought to myself,
where are you meeting people?
Yeah.
This is what I want to know.
well, first of all, I've deleted all my dating apps after this. And I went to...
What dating app are you on?
It's okay, he'll get it back.
Yeah, whatever. It's true.
Give it about a week.
Yeah, give it about when I get bored and lonely. So here's the thing. I go in the kitchen, and I think to myself, oh, she could shoot me. Like, I'm going to walk back in the room, and the gun's going to be facing to my face, and she's going to like, you're mine forever. Pop, 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 or something. And I was like, I have a podcast to do on Friday. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't die right now. I got things to live for.
But you know what else you were thinking? Great story for the podcast.
I got to see how this plays out.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was anything else that was like super bad or anything like that. But it was just, and luckily she did not have the gun aim at me at all. And then she like wanted to play poker, like card game, as we were talking. And she talked so much crap, like trash to me about poker. I was like, geez, woman, like, we've never even played before. She's like, you suck. I'm going to destroy you. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so that was my date story from this week. And I'm sorry. I hope she's a wonderful person and she's going to find true love one day. But it is not with me. And that's
It's a great story.
It's a great story. And if you're interested in dating me, I promise you.
We'll put applications up.
Yeah. Well, and then, here's the other thing, too, though. I know for a fact she doesn't listen to this podcast. So someone who knows I have a podcast goes on a date with me. Obviously, I'm not going to do a podcast story about them.
Oh, you didn't make her subscribe?
No. Okay. All right. Subscribe today on YouTube, please. We're up to 82 subscribers. So, anyways, that's just where I'm at with that. That's the end of the story. It wasn't some climax.
All right. Well, then, how do we feel about dating apps here?
Oh my gosh, it's hard for me because like I'm in this like area of I just turned 30 years old. I turned 30 in June, and so I'm too old to date. Certain like I can't date college age. That's weird. I can't date older people who are like with kids because a lot of people my age have kids, and I don't really want to date someone who has kids already. Love them to death. I'm sure they're wonderful people, but just like I want to start a family, and so it's hard to meet people. And you can't I can't go to a bar. Like where am I supposed to meet people? And so dating apps are supposed to be the way to meet people, and it's difficult. So I don't know. What about you? I mean, you're in college. Why do you have dating apps?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm in college.
Yeah, but you have like classes.
Okay.
You're in a sorority. Surely you meet people.
Yeah. And that's really awkward when I walk in the bar and someone's like, hey, I matched with you on Tinder. I'm like, I don't know you. That's awkward. That happened to me the other day. Yeah, I was like, hey. Yeah.
Like,
I use it
you're that
more.
guy.
I don't really use it what it's for. I use it more as like a
Just say it.
hot or not kind of thing. Like who's into me? Like do the people I want to match with also think I'm attractive?
You're trying to see where the level is.
I start swiping and then I'm like,
By 10 or I'm like low.
yeah.
I need to know
I
where
want to
I'm
know the
at.
range. I want to see what I can get.
Sometimes I've done that, like with Tinder.
Yeah.
I'll like swipe just automatically
Right.
to the right.
Just to see those
Just
matches.
See my matches
Yeah.
with me, and I go, oh, okay. Not quite who I was thinking, but unmatched, like.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while you're like, oh, that person matched with me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get. But you have like 1,000 matches, says.
No. No. I don't.
All right, do you have more than 10?
Yeah.
Less than
Wait, are we combining all of them?
Yeah. All your dating apps. Oh God.
You just say, are we combining them? Oh no. That number just exponentially rose.
We're having an intervention today for Sydney.
I don't need it. I don't find male validation in my dating apps. I just like to see who I match with.
Okay. All right.
I'm good. I've been single my whole life. I'm a strong, independent woman.
That's right.
That's right. That's what I
For
keep
the
telling
rest of her
myself.
life, right? Oh man, I love it. Also, Nathan, well, you found relationships on a non-dating app. So tell
Yeah.
Sydney and I how to find a
Yeah.
relationship. Is it just go to conferences?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I have friends that met on dating apps. They're married, great relationships, awesome. Like, I'm not saying they're terrible things. I think it can be a really nice, useful tool. I think in the grand scheme, in the overall, I just think dating apps are not healthy. Now, I'm not saying that they don't work or that you can't find someone that way, but I think overall they're, for where our culture's at and what people may desire deeply in their life, they're not helpful, and they're actually more painful and probably bring a lot more challenges in life than they do not. Again, not crapping on them. I used them for a little bit, and
How we met.
it's
No, sorry.
but
That's funny.
no, I mean there's some good stuff there, but it's just I think it's a very, very challenging balance that I think it plays more into our psyche than people realize, and it does more damage than it does good.
Well, and I've always struggled with that a little bit, and I really wish I don't struggle, but like we talked about it before the podcast. It's like when I'm trying to get people to subscribe and they unsubscribe or they just don't do it, I had to try to not take that personally.
Yeah.
Like, and it shows me on Instagram, like, oh, 200 people view this link to go subscribe, and you have 0 people that did it. Now, some people may already be subscribed or whatever, but you're just like, oh, do 200 people hate me? Or like when you post an Instagram photo on your or a Facebook photo, just for like a regular picture, and you don't get very many likes on it.
Yeah.
Do you go, oh, was that a celebratory moment in my life that people don't care about? And so that validation that you sometimes seek through the liking of a post or the subscribing onto a YouTube channel or whatever it may be, you have to be careful. It's the same thing with the dating apps of like, for me, it's like, am I attractive? Am I desirable at all? Like, if I don't get matches, like, do people not want to date me? And so it's a dangerous trap.
It's one of those, and I think social media plays into it a lot. I mean, think about not even that long ago in our future, how you met people, where you got married, all that type of stuff was very localized. I mean, you think about you married someone from your town or maybe the town over because you grew up. When you met someone, you found someone that you could do life with. Yeah, you had to be attracted to them, and there's a part of that there's something there, but you were looking for someone that could match with you, that you could build a life with. But now it's like, okay, well, who's the hottest person I can find and who I'm just solely attracted to, that you may not, like, talk about building a family or building a future. Like, you have no idea with that. And the thing is, like, with dating apps, because I've noticed it even for myself when I used them for just like a month when I used them, but it's like there's always someone that you're going to be attracted to. There's always someone that could be hotter, or there's always a newer thing, or there's always this.
There's always the hotter person.
Well, you get into the relationship and it's like, okay, it's not perfect, quote unquote, or it's not always easy because, we're all fallen people, we're all broken people. No one's going to be perfect. But then it's easy to be like, well, there's like 1,000 other people that I could, and now your possibilities are endless. And so then, instead of ever making a decision and walking through it, knowing that, hey, there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, there's going to be hard times, there's going to be fun times, I'm committed to this. If this just isn't what I want, if it's not what I'm feeling in the moment, then I can dip out because there's 1,000 other options. Same way with like, and you see like social media, everyone puts a lot of their best of their life on there. But you start getting this feeling of like missing out, or my life isn't what this person's is. and really like you have no idea what's going on in their life. Now, I know social media can be a great tool, business, all that other type of stuff can be great on it. But I think overall for our society and for our own psyches, I think social media and dating apps haven't done well. That's why, like in the Silicon Valley, there are a lot of people that are a part of big tech industries that are social media, like Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, all the same, but like all these big social media giants that will not let their kids have social media, and they're actually paying for their kids to go to school where there are no computers. They have to like write stuff down. They have to do all that because they realize I don't want this is destroying people. And so it's the norm for us. And I don't think that it's like, the most evil in the world and anyone that has it's terrible or anything. I just know I think it does a lot more damage to us and what we desire and what we want, because now instead of there was I think it was a philosopher or someone that said a wise person can see 20 open doors, shut 19 of them, and walk through one. Where now we have, it feels that the most wise thing to do is have 1,000 open doors and never walk through them. And so it keeps you from ever experiencing stuff or experiencing life or experiencing anything because we can't make decisions and walk through them. And I think a lot of it has to play in it. Again, I know some success stories. I know that some people find stuff there, but I think overall the dating apps and even social media, for me personally, I was only on dating apps for like a month. Getting off of it was great. I met Lou in just a random way.
Not on a dating app.
Not on a dating app. But then
and shout out to Lou.
Social media, getting off social media, man, my life, it just feels, it's just way better. It's a lot less complicated. I don't ever worry about what other people are doing. I still have the Wesley social media account, but I don't have any like my friends from years ago or any of that. Like my family's, I don't even know if my family follows Wesley or whatever, but it's just one of those things. It's like my life is so much simpler. I'm with the people that I'm with. I care about the people that I care about. It's not the comparison game of like, oh, well, my life's not there, or, what other options could I have? It's like, no, I get to live where I'm at, when I'm at, and then trust that when it's time, when things are going the right way, that you find someone, you meet them. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just the old man in the room that's spitting that off, but.
And your response, rebuttal?
Me?
Yeah, as the generational gap.
I agree. I think it's truth. I think my generation uses dating apps a little more like loosely. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't.
I'm sure.
But I completely agree with social media. I think it's honestly awful. I mean, I still do it, but it's what everyone does.
You don't post a lot though.
No, I don't. It's when I went to the Cumming campus my first year, and I saw all my friends going off to college partying and having so much fun, and like not even partying, like they would be getting involved in the college ministries and fun stuff, and it was like destroying me. I was like, this is awful. I want to be in college. I want to have fun, because I still lived at home. And I was like, this is not fun. But then looking back on it now, like that was the best time of my life. Like I was with the youth group all the time. Like those were my closest friends. Mm-hmm. I drove up here because I don't live that far away. So I still got involved with other stuff, and I lived at home. I heard all horror stories about like roommate situations and stuff. My roommate was my dog. So shout out Catley.
Dogs are the cats.
I don't know. I think it's truth. I like now Instagram. Have y'all noticed it has the update? It says like, so-and-so and others have like this post. It doesn't say the number. Like you can switch it off.
Yeah.
And I think that's healthy to like, I'm posting this for me, and for whoever wants to see it can see it. Whoever I want to see it can see it, but I don't care about the likes from it. So I think that's good, but
I probably should do that where it doesn't tell you the number of people.
Because I found when I used to have Instagram, I never posted, and I never did anything on my story. Like I just had it essentially to, stalk people, I'm sure, but that was it. Like just check out what other people are doing. But there was one time, I remember this, I hadn't posted in about a year, and I posted on my story. It was when you and Billy and I went to the Hawks game.
Yo, what's up? Rise up,
And
baby.
I posted a picture of it on the story, and I put the phone in my pocket. And after about an hour or so, I like looked back at Instagram, and I went to my story to see who all looked at it. And I like in that moment, I realized, why do I care? Like if I'm really just wanting to post something for fun or just, why do I care how many people have looked at it and who's looked at it? And to me, I realized in that moment, I was like, and I hadn't even posted in a year, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that. Like, it's not like I took a picture, put it on my camera reel, and it's like, oh, this is for me, and I'll send it to some people in a text. Hey, look what I posted that, and it was like, I was hoping people would see it, and I wanted people, like, who saw it and how many people looked at it, and I was like, I don't like this feeling.
But I will say, at that game, though, we sat down. We were, like, pretty close to behind one of the goals. Like,
Oh, not that game. Remember, it was the game that we got the all-you-could-eat seats.
oh, is
That game. That game.
That's another story, too. But that very first game that we went to, so, like, once the season, Nathan, Billy, and I go to a Hawks game.
Let Ben tell his side. I'll tell you what really happened.
Well, I'm talking about the first one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The New Zealand, the country New Zealand girls rugby team set like in front of us or something.
They were right behind us.
They're right behind us, and they were gorgeous. They were absolutely gorgeous. Skin is touched by the Lord Himself. I mean, it was kissed by the sun. It was gorgeous. It was wonderful. I just remember that. What were you gonna say?
Well, so we're sitting there, and the New Zealand girls are sitting right behind us. There were some that were like behind us, some in front of us.
Yeah.
They were like, because there was a big group of them, and they were down here to play some tournament, and they were playing down at Kennesaw, and they just decided to come down for the game because why not? They're in Atlanta, and they all go up to like the way our seats were, like as you got down, it was right like 10 rows before the floor, and so there's that little gap where you can stand and take a picture. And so they go down to like take a picture, and Billy's like, Ben, go take their picture. Go take. And Ben's like, he reverts to being like a middle school kid. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, stop! You're embarrassing me. And Billy screams, hey, he'll take your picture. Do you need someone to take your picture? Because Ben's like right at the end of the aisle too, and they're like, that would be great. And Ben's like, and he's like a little middle schooler, and he gets up, and it's like he turns around like, Dad, stop! Like he turns around, he's all red, and he's like smiling, and he looks at us like he's going to kill us, and then and he goes and takes their picture, and then they start like we were interacting with him, just talking and like having a good time.
Some confidence juice, if you know what I'm saying.
It was so stinking funny, and like we were just like talking to him, and Ben's like, shut up.
There was like some seats in front of us that were empty, and they like kind of came and like just stood in that row, and like we were talking to them for a good bit.
Yeah, like the rest of the game, it was so funny.
And they were like telling us about their team, and like we got to know like 4 of them pretty well. It was pretty.
It was, and Ben was just like a middle school boy that was like just reverted back to middle school. It was the funniest thing.
And I was not big on social media at the time because I probably would have gotten like their Instagram or something.
Oh, you totally would have. And you would have been like,
them.
follow me on the Great White Buffalo.
Maybe we should just go
Yeah, right.
subscribe today.
I'll tell this story later.
I should have went to the New Zealand like rugby team and see if I could find them on there somewhere. And then the other time, this one actually makes me mad. And you were part of my life at that point too. I don't know if you remember. There was a season of Lent where I gave up. I call it veto. I went keto, which was no carbs, no sugars, but I also went vegetarian.
Yeah.
And it was for the whole season.
That was
of
like
Lent.
rough.
It was a rough 40 days. But during that 40 days of roughness that I hated, I did not enjoy it at all. It was very difficult. Rely on the Lord. What's up, God? You and I are tight. We went to this game, the basketball game, like we normally do. But this time, instead of just getting like regular seats, we got like box seats where like all the food's provided for you, all the drinks are provided for you. Like you just get whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And I had to like go get queso, and I ate like cheese, like spinach cheese the entire time. It was terrible, but y'all had a great time.
Oh, it was great. Funky food.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
They're like, Ben, look at this steak. Ben, look at this shrimp. Man, look at this hot dog. Dude, it's just a regular hot dog. But it's got coleslaw on it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can.
It was free.
Yeah, it's free. It was free. Like, oh, it was great. God, I regret that. I mean, I guess I don't regret doing the Lent thing for my Lord and Savior, but regret that basketball game was due in that 40 days. Man.
Can I tell you about a basketball game?
Yeah,
Please do.
Okay. I'm holding a little bit of resentment towards this. The other day, UNG had their little basketball game, and I go on, speaking of social media, I'm seeing everyone post about it. Guess who they're posting? Nigel the Nighthawk.
Full circle, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I was so upset. I was like, that could have been me. Like, I want nothing more than to be Nigel. Still, to this day, if they told me they have a new mascot suit and I can fit in it, I would be all over that.
Was it just because you were a little too short?
Yeah.
a little too short? I need to be 5'11".
Let's get you some stilettos.
That's what I told them. I was like, I literally walked in and the lady was like, no. she just like looked at me and laughed. So.
All right,
That Young Harris game was nuts. Did you watch any of the highlights?
No.
You watched UNG basketball?
The highlight was awesome.
Oh, I did not.
They were tied with like. Let me see. Young Harris was coming down. This guy goes to drive. There's like 10 seconds left. He goes to drive. Seems to be a pretty easy layup. The UNG guy comes, blocks it off the backboard before it touches the backboard, so it's fine. And then UNG takes it and just drives the court with like 6 seconds and lays it in with 0.8 seconds left to end the game and win it. It was pretty
Nighthawks
intense.
won?
Yeah. It was crazy.
Nighthawks, baby. This is also one of my favorite stories. And I here's the thing though. I backed it up. I don't know if we told this story already on the podcast.
I don't know.
But when we first went from the Northridge College State University, go Saints, and we consolidated with Gainesville State College, the Fighting Geese, we came up with a new mascot, the Nighthawks, instead of the Eagles, because we were going to be the Eagles, and then we realized our colors and mascot are like almost exactly the same as Georgia Southern, so it shouldn't be. You know, we're more heavy blue.
Yeah.
I think they're not really heavy with the blue. But anyways, they started doing this. And that a wingspan of a Nighthawk is like this. It's about 12 inches, which is a fact. That's a fact. It's a very small bird. And so we would take it apart and we go Nighthawks, like this. Well, that did not catch on. That was like kind of like, you know, like in Texas, they all had like the different hand signals, whatever. You know, the Texas Tech, you know, the Longhorns, whatever. And so they were like, well, we could do something like this. And it lasted maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. But I kind of was like, this is the only time I really got into it. And so when Sydney was going to North Georgia, I was
7 years later.
yeah, a very long time later, I was like, dude, Nighthawks. Everybody does it, man. This means Nighthawks or whatever. Like, you know, this is the mascot signal. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Goes into class.
Okay, mind you, this is coming from the Dahlonega man himself. So I trust wholeheartedly everything this man is saying.
And you should at all times.
Right.
That was your first mistake.
That was my first mistake. My second mistake was doing this at the Cumming campus because I feel like it's all high schoolers that are dual enrolled, so that's even a little more disconnected.
Yeah, even less,
Yeah. Well, I walk in, again, not in college, so like, you know, real college. I'm at the Cumming campus, so I'm like, I need to make friends. I walk in, 8 a.m. math class. I go in there, filled. I have never seen a tiny room filled with this many people, but I walk in. This is so embarrassing. I walk in and I go, let's go Nighthawks. And I'm holding up this signal that does not exist. And everyone, mind you, it's also 8 a.m. So even if it did exist, people probably wouldn't care. Everyone just stares at me. And I was like, all right, next time.
Duly noted.
So next time, 11 a.m. music appreciation. I'm like, you know what? I've done it once. Wasn't really a you know, for the crowd, but I'll try it again. I walk in immediately. Let's go Nighthawks. There's like literally 3 kids in this class. That was just embarrassing. Okay.
What if one of those guys were in your math class like, man, this girl's really trying to make this thing. Like,
I didn't think about that. That would have been extra embarrassing. Thanks for putting that thought in my head. So then I'm like, all right, done it twice now. Third time's a charm. I walk in to my like 1 p.m. Spanish class and I go, Nighthawks, let's go. And finally, people started laughing at me, with me. I don't know. I don't care because I got some giggles. So I go in, I sit down, and one of the girls that did laugh with me is now in my sorority, and we're good friends. So one person that that laughed, it's still going strong. I just thought it was funny.
Let's go Nighthawks. And it turns out no one does that.
No one does it. Not a single person.
Even on the Delaware campus, like when you went to basketball games or 5U, they don't go like Nighthawks.
No, Ben. No one.
No one.
You could make it a thing.
You could make that.
And then you could tell everyone.
You could be.
That just came up in my mind, and then Ben would be like, "No, I came up." He'd be like, "No, I've never heard of that. I don't even know who you are."
Dude, what if they became like a huge popular thing? You're like, yeah, established by Sydney.
I'll do it at more of our FIMU stuff, but I will say FIMU's mascot is a lion. His name is Sir Fidel. And
Wait,
one of
Sir Fidel?
Sir Fidel. Yeah.
Like Sir S-I-R.
Yeah.
Right? He's British.
Sir, right. Like
Sir.
it's Fidel.
What's
Yeah.
Fidel?
Find out.
Like feline? Fidel? Lion?
I don't know. Don't ask me that.
All right, sorry.
Well, anyway,
Take my
one of the girls in our sorority, she's a senior, and she bought a lion mascot. And I told her, I said, Christy, when you graduate, you need to pass this down to me, because her and I have just recently connected, because she's a senior and I'm a sophomore. We've just recently connected and realized that we are so similar on so many levels. And she tried to be Nigel also and got turned down because she's like my height too. So yeah, I was like, Christy, I need this mascot, and she told me she's gonna give it to me. So now I'm gonna be the next Sir Fidel.
Sororities. You know he dates a 5U.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
yeah.
5U.
FIMU.
I love it. I was a Zeta sweetheart.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Zeta Tau Alpha. So no, we don't have one of those in North Georgia. What's up?
Right.
Shout out to Bernal University. This is Whitey Tidy. This is the mascot.
Okay.
So if I got a great white buffalo mascot suit,
She'd wear it around
I'd
campus.
wear it.
It'd
I'd
be
wear it
like-
all around campus, and I'd
And,
get
like,
people to subscribe.
subscribe.
Yeah.
dude.
Doing the Nighthawk.
Doing the UNG would, what's it called?
What?
Sponsor your
Sponsor?
podcast.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Well,
Get
maybe.
Nigel, get Sir Fidel, and what's his name? Whitey Tidy.
Whitey Tidy. I don't know. I thought it was a great name. It was when I first started out the podcast, and I was like, submit a name for the podcast, and only 2 people did it.
And one of them was
And one
Whitey
of them
Tidy.
was Whitey Tidy,
So
and
we're
I was
going with
like,
it.
Shout out to Thomas Holm. He came up with that one. So Whitey Tidy. But I can imagine, like, you have a giant buffalo head. It has, like, maybe one of our T-shirts on.
Yeah.
And you're walking around like, it's a great white buffalo. You know, taking pictures with people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe passing out merch. Have someone with you as, like, your handler.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't really see very well. And, like, passing out merch. Oh, my gosh. How much is a white buffalo
We're about to
mascot?
find out.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Absolutely.
You need to make it. You need to make it. You need to make it like really big, so that way it's like a real buffalo. So the back's just like on roller skates, the back legs.
Oh.
So like you need
I was
that.
just thinking just like a standing up.
No. I'm thinking go big, and it's like the size of a buffalo, and there's like she's just walking around. There's just little roller skate legs
Just
just
following
her.
me.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. Dude, what if we had a buffalo mascot suit and we had like one of you or one of us were in the buffalo, one of us Nigel and the lion, Sir
Fidel.
Sir Fidel, and we did a whole podcast as like mascots. Like, hey, what's up, y'all? We the mascot. We representing.
I like it.
That'd be sick, bro. Which one would you want to be?
Oh, I have to be one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 mascots. There's 3. Of
I
us
feel like it
anyway.
makes sense for him to be Nigel and you to be Whitey Tidy.
And then you be
Yeah.
And then I feel like that
makes
makes
sense. That
the
makes
most
sense. Yeah. I like
yeah,
that.
that kind of goes with it. God, that'd be sick. If you're listening to this podcast and you know how to make mascot uniforms or know where to order mascot uniforms, give us a ring-a-ling. Give us a little
Tell me it's not on
What's up?
Amazon right now.
in Amazon.
Yeah. That's where she got Sir Fidel.
I don't think they have a white buffalo.
You never know,
mascot
dude.
uniform.
The internet's crazy.
That is true. The internet is crazy.
We're about to find out in 0.3 seconds.
I did have a lot of people ask me about, since we've been doing the YouTube thing, they've been asking me a lot more about the buffalo and the history behind it. So that's been pretty cool.
That's
Of
cool.
why we got the name and stuff. Man. Nathan, what have you been up to, man? What's going on with you?
Just living life, dude. Living life.
We had a bachelor party this past weekend.
Yeah, we did.
It was
For
pretty
Winston
epic.
Hunter. Excited for him to be back
Shout out
up.
Winston. He did just call me during the podcast. So if he watches, sorry I didn't answer your phone call.
Yeah, I think McKeever's moving in this weekend. I think so.
Oh,
that'll be
this
good.
weekend?
I think I need to call him.
Dang,
See what's
We
happening.
have a bunch of people coming back. And they both been on the podcast, so we'll get them back on here for sure. Did you find one?
I saw a lot of brown ones, but no white ones.
We can always spray paint it.
True.
Diet.
Yeah.
Well, but it's gonna be like furry.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, Sydney, we want to, now that you're on here, Nathan's on the podcast a lot, so we know about him, we love him. But we want to know more about you. Like, we want to know what's going on in Sydney's life. Like, what are some major updates? What is the season of life that you're in right now?
So last semester was a little rough for me, but we're about to have the greatest redemption story ever. So I'm just,
Okay.
yeah, it's okay. I'm getting better. I did go for a position in FIMU. I wanted to be the FI director, which just basically means that's the person that like brings the new girls in. So once they join before they're officially FIMUs, they're considered FIs. And so that person kind of just like guides them and teaches them everything they need to know before they fully are initiated.
Which should be great because you're very welcoming.
I thought I would be a good fit for it. And I basically got like top vote kind of thing. And then I ended up not getting it. And that's okay. Because the person that gets that can't take a little because it's like you're too close with them. Like it could be considered like picking favorites kind of thing. So you can't take a little. So that's good now because I can take a little. So everything happens for a reason. It works out. And now I'm the banner chair. So I do all the like the banners, like all the decorated, like the big sheets that have like all the paintings and stuff on them. So now I'm the head of that committee, which is exciting. So
Which is super artsy too.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, she did. They have told you on this podcast. She did this painting. She did that painting over there. You did another one too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I can't see all the paints behind me, but she did a lot of different paintings. You're very talented with
Thank
that.
you.
So that'd be cool. Yeah, doing banners, and that's what they hang over. Was it Stewart?
Hogue.
Or Hogue? Yeah, they put them over the rail. Mm-hmm. So you'll be making those.
Yeah, so like we have all of our socials and we have like ones for that. So I've already been asked to do 2 of them. I have to get 2 done in 2 weeks, and they're like big projects. So I'm a little bit nervous, but
Where are you supposed to do them at? Where you can lay them out?
the girl gave me the last banner chair gave me a tarp, and you put the tarp up on your wall, like you thumbtack it into your wall, and then you put the it's like a twin size sheet, just a flat sheet, and you put that up, and then you paint over the wall. But it's with the tarp in between them, so you don't get
tarp
it.
on the ground too for paint.
Yeah, she gave me like a shower curtain that I'll just throw down there.
If you do a bad one, will you be voted out?
Ooh,
No,
that's
so-
Because I think it'd be real funny if you just did like the FIMU like this big and it just says like FIMU North Georgia and they just go to throw it over Hogue and
And
it's
it's tiny.
really good.
really
Really
good.
good.
Just really tiny.
I just really type like, sorry guys, I'll do better next time.
Like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you wanted the whole sheet to be used.
Which may be pretty good because then people will be like, what is that? So they have to get closer to
True.
see and then you bring them
True.
in.
Instead of using the bed sheet, she
I get,
gets
like, a
pillow
pillowcase.
sheet.
Yeah.
A pillowcase, and it's like, crushed it.
No, don't manifest that. No, one of the girls, the last girl, she had some old ones that she gave me. She was like, these ones, like, there was one that had a crab on it. We were doing like some yacht social, and she had sent a picture to it, and everyone was just like, we don't like this. Like, can we do this instead? So it's a group effort. I'm just the head of that committee. So I have people in my committee that help me, but I'm basically most responsible for it.
Yeah.
So the girls in the committee, they're not like forced to go help me. Like, it's not like certain hours that they have to get and they have to go do committee hours, but they get points if they do.
Yeah.
So I just have to deal with it the most.
Okay.
So
You'll crush it. You'll
thanks,
do
I
well.
hope.
Can you do a banner for Wesley?
Absolutely.
Dude, that'd be sick, bro.
I have a projector now. They gave me, so you like, I make the prints
Oh,
and then I get it on a
yeah.
projector and I send it and I sketch it out and pencil on the
Yeah.
sheet and then I paint it. So,
If it gets approved. Of like
No.
what you want.
well, the thing will get approved, like the sketch.
Right. But before you paint the whole thing, they're not like, we actually don't want that.
Well, normally they send it to me. They're like our social chair just sent me. She said, "Hey, I want this for our like Valentine's Day social." So I didn't even ask. Like, I didn't make one. She just sent it to me.
Yeah.
Where's your
So-
Valentine's Day social at?
JB's.
Oh my gosh.
Where else,
Every
bro?
social-
Where
Where
every
else would it
social
be?
there?
Yeah. I was trying to think. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my gosh. And do y'all have semi-formal or formal in the spring?
We have formal.
So like that's the fancier one.
Yes.
And in the fall you have semi-formal?
Yes.
So where y'all going for formal this year?
I don't know yet. That's not.
Did you ever get to go to semi-formal or formal? Mm-hmm. I went to one formal my entire college career. And
Come be the DJ.
Will
I can ask if they want you.
I can DJ. I'm
Okay.
a really good DJ. I'll play raunchy music the whole time.
Perfect.
You know, if it has an E next to it, I go, yes.
Yes, that's the one.
Everyone likes that. I once went to I had a DJ like an adult party. I don't know how else to say that. But they wanted me to play like some raunchy music or whatever. And so I had like my list of songs that had like, I don't know, a cuss word here or there or whatever. And I was like playing, like, you know, people were kind of bumping. And this girl, shout out to Chrissy Callahan, she like came up and she was like, "This is not what we want." I was like, "Okay, like, well, I don't know what else. Like, what dirty rap song do you want?" She goes, "Let me help you." Like literally, like props her knuckles, puts in a playlist of like 20 songs that I've never heard of. Like still to this day, I couldn't tell you. And they were the raunchiest songs. But the crowd went wild.
Oh my god!
Like I was like, what the heck? She should be a DJ. She knew the beat, she knew the songs, she knew the underground music that people just loved. And I was like, I was just playing like Drake, you know, like something that I thought was mainstream. And she was like, no, you don't know who like Turtle rapper DJ is? I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. It's like, oh, let me tell you, and it just crushed it. So I have some of those songs. 5E's not ready for it, but we'll bring some heat.
Okay.
Sponsored by GWB Podcast.
Right, of course.
And we'll get all the girls to subscribe.
Yep.
And I'll be like, oh my God, 100 new subscribers. And then when we leave, we'll have 50 of them will unsubscribe. It'll be fantastic.
But that's 50 more than you walked in with.
That's right. That's fantastic. All right. So we like to end the podcast each week, as you know, with nuggets of wisdom.
Oh, dang it. I always forget. I know this and I always forget.
So, Naders, what do you got? Nugget of wisdom.
Nugget of wisdom. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the podcast.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Or maybe beginning, middle. Maybe for Lent or just for a little season of life, maybe consider if you are on dating apps and or on social media, consider maybe don't have to delete them all, but delete the apps off your phone just for like a month. And just take a true fast from them. Don't check them. Don't worry about them. And just see how you are mentally and physically at the end of that month. And see if it's worth keeping.
Ooh. Sydney, you should think about that.
I should. I think that was directed completely towards me.
It was not. It was directed to anyone that has dating apps.
I don't have any on my phone right now, bro.
Or social media.
Give him 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Stop! Don't go down like that. That's really good. I like that. Sid, what do you got?
I don't know. I heard this guy the other day. I was watching TikTok and he said something about it doesn't matter if your glass is half full or half empty. There's still water in it. So drink it and be quiet. And I live by that now.
I like that a lot.
Right?
That's really good.
He had this whole thing. I'll let you listen to the rest of it. It was really good.
Oh, that's really
yeah,
good.
It was really, that was the end of it. He was super passionate. I think he had a cuss word in it, but it was okay. It was still good.
Yeah.
There's my nugget of wisdom.
There's sometimes I watch like the YouTube shorts or whatever the clips, and like sometimes these guys from Joe Rogan or whatever podcast, and they'll say things like that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I don't think I could say that verbatim,
but I like it.
But I like it. For me, when life gives you an opportunity to interact with a New Zealand rugby team, just seize the opportunity. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy. They're from New Zealand, and they're rugby players. So when that opportunity, and I think that opportunity will happen for you as a listener, you got to seize it.
Yeah.
If you're at North Georgia and the rugby team from New Zealand comes in front of you, seize the opportunity. Okay, Sydney?
The girls' team?
Either one.
Okay.
You got to seize the opportunity.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all listening to the Great White Buffalo podcast. Don't forget, we're on Apple and Spotify for all you audio-only listeners. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple. It helps us out a lot. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening to the Great White Buffalo podcast. Great White Buffalo podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Video things would be too much.
Wandering through the great plains of life, Things move fast, sometimes a blur. Don't you let this bumpy road separate you from the herd. And when you think the day is done, the sun is getting low. We're all looking for something rare, the great white buffalo. The Great White Buffalo Podcast with Ben Mayfield.